9 Wants to Know is looking into student-athlete safety, asking every school district in Colorado what kind of helmets they're using for their football teams. The NFL is paying close attention to research out of Virginia Tech, where researchers are testing helmets and rating them. 5 stars means the best protection against concussions. 9 Wants to Know investigator Melissa Blasius has learned only half of Colorado's high schools own any 5-star helmets. Melissa, you found dozens of the schools are using helmets that have tested so poorly they got 0 stars.
Yeah, that's right, Kyle. And first, I have to say this, that there is always a risk. No football helmet can ever 100% protect a player from concussion or brain injury. At the same time, not all helmets are created equal. High school football players get hit hundreds of times a season. They condition their bodies, but no amount of working out can toughen up your brain. 55,000 adolescent players end up in ERs every year with concussions or worse. In 2008, Trinidad high school player Rhett Rodolphe suffered brain damage and paralysis.
It just makes me feel sad and useless that I have a messed up arm and leg and stuff.
We know that concussions are related to G-forces.
Dr. Thomas Mano treats young athletes with concussions.
And we measure how quickly your skull accelerates or decelerates, and then we assume your brain bounces around inside your skull.
He says you're likely to get a concussion if the impact is about 100 Gs. That's 100 times the force of gravity. That's what Dr. Stefan Dumas studies at the Virginia Tech Wake Forest School of Biomedical Engineering. He started by putting sensors on college players.
We took 10 years, millions of data points, brought it in the lab, and recreated test energy levels to simulate what the players see on the field. We'll take a helmet, test each helmet 120 times, different heights, different directions.
Professor Dumas tests and rates new helmets every year. 5 stars is best. 1 star is considered marginal.
I can take, for one drop test, a 1-star helmet, and I'll get 150 Gs. Replace it with a 5-star helmet, I can cut that in half to 75 Gs. And our fundamental point is there's a huge difference between 150 Gs and 75 Gs.
So 9 wants to know, what kind of helmet do you want your kid wearing on the line of scrimmage? And how many schools are handing out this one? The Adams A2000 Pro Elite. Virginia Tech decided it deserved no stars.
We don't think anybody should ever wear that helmet and play football, especially at the high school level.
9 Wants to Know used public records laws to get helmet info from high schools across the state. 234 schools complied. 16 of those schools say they still use at least some of those Adams helmets. 22 more schools have 1 or 2-star helmets considered marginal or just adequate. So 38 schools, 16% of those who responded to our request are using poorly rated helmets. 9 Wants to Know why. What kind of research do your high school coaches do about helmets before they...
High school coaches don't do research.
The Colorado High School Activities Association, known as KUSA, regulates interscholastic sports across the state.
Any equipment on the market, there's good, better, and best. I don't know what those standards are.
What is your responsibility to make sure that your kids are in the best helmets possible?
That responsibility follows to the school.
The only requirement for Colorado high school helmets is that they're certified by NOCSE, the National Operating Committee on Standards for Athletic Equipment. It's partly funded by the companies that make the helmets.
We'll test it to the appropriate standard and tell you if it works.
NOCSE uses a pass-fail system and says there's not enough research on what causes these kind of head injuries to really rate helmets.
We know there are these other mechanisms that cause these intracranial shear strains that result in injury. Therefore, we're not sure what to do. And if you're not sure what to do, you'd best not make the wrong decision. So you have to progress very slowly.
But Dr. Mano sees the value in the stars. Do you know what kind of helmets your kids are wearing when they come in and they have a concussion?
You know, we don't routinely ask that, and maybe we should. And that's a learning point for me from this.
NFL teams are also hanging these posters with Virginia Tech's helmet ratings in the pros' locker rooms. But what do we want for our younger players? Would you put your kid in a 1-star helmet made in 2004 or a 5-star helmet made in 2014?
I would hope that I'm in a 5-star made in 2014.
Well, and there's no love lost between NOXI and the Virginia Tech researchers here. Also, the issue of football concussions has become so controversial and concerning that there are several other researchers across the country jumping into the fray, using different testing methods, and sometimes coming up with yet different conclusions. But the thing we want to get across here is it's okay, Kyle, for you as a parent to go to your coach and say, what kind of helmet is my kid wearing? And we've made it kind of easy for folks. We actually have put up on our website an interactive map and all the data that we've collected.
Terrific. Oh, great. So parents can actually go and see what's my kid wearing, what's the kid at the school across town wearing. That said, even in those 5-star helmets, it's not a license to play the game recklessly.
Absolutely. You know, there is some concern, actually, that if you have one of these 5-star helmets, that kids will try to hit harder. So very important for coaches to teach their players to keep their head up, learn proper tackling procedures, and those kinds of things. And remember that no matter what helmet you're wearing, there is a potential that you can get a concussion. So educate yourself on what the signs of concussion are as well.
It's not immunity. It's just a helmet. All right. Excellent. Thank you, Melissa.